For this project you will need a brown for the dough of your gingerbread man and white for the icing, but because my brown's so dark I've decided to go with a kind of a light tan. You will also need an assortment of colors. I mimicked a box of Smarties here to just randomly decorate, and you will also need thread and a needle thin enough to fit through your beads. You can use any beading needle, but if you're using a craft needle, just make sure that it does fit through your beads. Bead on 2 brown beads and pull it to the bottom. Leave a tail a few inches long. Take your needle and go back up through both of the beads. See that? Now come back and go through them again, but this time only go through the bottom one. Now hold your beads with your tail in your left hand. Grab another bead and go through the bottom. Well, I guess go through the, see how your thread's coming out this side? Go through the opposite. Kind of like we did when we made the Santa Claus hat. And then, see how it comes down that bead? Go back up through the bead you just added. Now you've got 3 in a row. Keep doing that until you have 5 in a row. So once you've got your 5, you're going to add 1 off-white, 1 brown, 1 button color, 1 brown, 1 button color, 1 brown, 1 button color, 1 brown. All the button colors can match, or they can be just randomly picked. Depends on what look you're going for. When you're done, you should have something that looks like this. I'm going to flip my work around so that my thread is coming out the top. Now for the first step, we're going to increase, so you want to add 2 beads, 2 brown beads, and you're going to go through these 2 beads just under the black thread. Okay. Now, see how they're like that? And we went like this. You're going to go through this first bead, back up through the bottom. And pull. See how this kind of hangs over? That's how you increase on a row. Okay, now we're going to add our next bead, and we're going to go to this next section. In between the black thread, and just like before, we're going to go back up through the bead. It's a little hard to see because there's not much to hold on to. Okay, so just continue sewing 1 bead at a time all the way up until you have 8 brown beads. Okay. Now you'll need one off-white. And just sew it on like you were before. Okay, to work your end in, just bring it over. Okay. Now, this string is underneath. I don't know if you can really tell. And this is kind of over top. Like, see? Okay. Now go over it and back up your bead like you would for all your stitches. And what it's going to do is it's going to kind of catch your tail. And so now it's in there. So now you can just pull it to straighten it, and it's still straight across there. And then what you do is you grab your next bead, which will be one brown, and go under the black thread like you would before. See how your tail's still kind of there? Just go under. And then when you go back up through your bottom of your bead, you kind of catch your tail and hide it. Okay, so do one more cream, and then finish to the end with browns. You should have something that looks like that. Now that you've kind of stitched your tail end in, you can just snip it off. There. Okay. So now we're going to flip it and start our new row. So we're going to actually decrease, so we're just going to do a step up and just stitch it like we would all the other ones. There. Now you want to do 3 browns, 1 cream, 1 brown. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. 3 brown, 1 cream, 1 brown. Now we're actually going to be working the head first, so we're not going to be going down the body yet. So we're going to turn, and then we're going to work one more row of 4 brown beads. Okay, so there are my 4 brown beads. Now I'm going to flip my work again, and I'm going to do one last row of 3 brown beads. Okay, so there's my last row of 3. Now we're going to go to the arm. So what you're going to do is we want to come out this bead over here. So we're actually going to go up 1 bead. See how our thread's coming up? We're going to go up 1 and just follow the beads down on a diagonal. See how they kind of come out there? See how our thread comes out here? Now we want to come out this bead here because we want to skip this one here. So we're actually going to go up the next bead, like so. And then move over to the one that we want. And there we go. So we kind of skip this little space. So working down, do 6 brown beads, and then we're going to actually increase with the 7th, but I'll show you when we get there. So I have my 6 brown beads. Now, to add the 7th and increase this row, this little stitch in between where we sewed this one bead on, we're going to go back through it and just kind of add the 7th stitch to that same stitch. And just like before, go through the bottom and there you go. That'll kind of sit there and see how it's increasing. So now all we're going to do is turn and start our next row. Because we're still increasing on the end, we're going to do 2 brown beads, go between the black stitch, pull, and then go back up, there you go. Do 2 more brown beads. Okay, so you should have a row of 4 brown beads. Now we're working on the leg, so now we're going to flip it and we're going to do a row like normal, and we're going to do 3 brown, 1 cream. Okay, so I've got my 3 brown, and for the 1 cream we're going to have to increase. So like we did the previous row, I'm going to go back through the same stitch as I did the last brown, then back up through the bottom, and there you go. Twist. Now this time I'm going to increase again, but this time I want 1 brown and 1 cream, and you want the brown to go on the needle first, and then like we did before, go through that connecting stitch and then back up through the bottom of your bead. Okay. The reason why we did the brown first is because we wanted the brown on the outside. Okay? So do 1 more cream and 1 more brown. You should have something that looks like this. 1 brown, 2 cream, 1 brown. Now we're going to turn it, and we're going to do a row of 1 cream, 2 brown. Okay, so there's my 1 cream and 2 brown. Now I'm going to turn my work and do 1 last row of 2 brown beads. Now we want to do the arm. So like we did before, we're going to go up over 1 bead and then follow that down on a diagonal until we come out the other side. Okay, so I've come out between the bottom 2 buttons. Now I'm going to go over 1, and we're going to go just kind of either go this way and up or this way and up, but you want to skip this bead and come out this one here. My thread's a little thick, so I'm just going to do 1 bead at a time. There we go. Here, this is where a bead would have been. We want that empty. So we're going to come out this bead here.